Hey, what's up guys? This is Tassone and this is my channel Living in Colorado. Today I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of living in Denver, Colorado in 2022. And you should watch so you can learn more about it and hopefully you'll move here. What's up everybody, this is Tassone with Living in Colorado. If this is the first time that you're coming to my channel, please make sure that you click the subscribe and like below so that way you'll have access to my content when it comes out every single week. And if you have any questions about anything relating to Denver, Colorado, or mortgages, please feel free to reach out to me through email, call, or text at my information below. All right, guys, so my first pro of living in Denver, Colorado is the proximity to mountains. So being in Colorado, there's about 60 mountains we consider 14ers. So any peak that is 14,000 feet above sea level is considered a 14er. So you'll have a lot of people that are really interested in going hiking, and you'll have this kind of like a picture where people will always take the top of the mountain and they'll have like the altitude and the name of the peak. So it's a pretty trendy thing to do in Denver. But being I've lived in Colorado for about 17 years, and being at the top of a mountain, I mean, there's nothing like views up there. So that's why I put my first pro with proximity to mountains. Now, with that being said, so the con to the being close to mountains is the altitude, right? You're not going to be able to be at that high of an altitude without feeling some negative consequences with that. When you get altitude sickness, you can experience kind of being really tired, laziness, headaches, dehydration. You could have nosebleeds, and then also you could have a hard time breathing. So I'll bring in a little story. So when I first moved to Colorado, I moved from Los Angeles and I went to high school in Telluride, Colorado. So it's a ski town. The elevation there I think is 8,500 feet above sea level. So I played soccer my whole life. I was in phenomenal shape going into that first year of high school soccer. So I was cocky. I was like, oh well, I'll be in good shape, and I was super wrong. Get there, we do full practice, doing fine, and then we start running sprints. And so we had to run sprints from one end of the field around the goal on the other side and all the way back. That was considered one sprint, and I made it, I think, 3/4 of the way, and then just basically fell over and couldn't breathe. I was so winded.
I'm pretty tired.
All the other players were laughing at me like, you're so ridiculous. And so that was kind of my first experience of altitude sickness. But the good thing about that is once your body gets acclimated to it and your lungs get acclimated to it, then you're in really, really good shape. So then when I would go back to visit my family in California and go for runs, I could run a few miles and my body would be tired before my lungs were winded. So that's why you'll see, athletes at very high levels, whether collegiate or professional athletics, that are training at altitude, because it gives you such a good advantage over, all the people that you're playing against. And then in addition to it being a con, the pro to the fact that we're at such high altitude is the fact that we're closer to the sun. So Colorado gets about 300 days of sunshine every year, and because we're so much closer to the sun, it's a lot warmer, and that's a very nice thing in the winter. So you'll have a snowstorm and then it'll be warm, then it'll snow and then it'll get warm again. So the seasons are very mild and it's very comfortable in winter and in summer here in Colorado. So then, with all the ability to do stuff water related, we do have lots of lakes and lots of rivers, but we do also live nowhere near an ocean. So if you want to move to Denver for your hopes and dreams of the aquatic lifestyle within the ocean, I don't think that's the right fit, just simply because we're landlocked in all directions. So, if you have any interest in surfing, snorkeling, swimming in the ocean, you got to save that stuff for vacations and adventures when you go out of state. So, growing up, I was lucky in that I was a hybrid in that my family was in Los Angeles and then also in the mountains. So basically every holiday and during school, we would always go back. So I got to experience mountains and ocean. Me personally, I'm a big fan of just the mountains. I love the ocean when I get to see it, but I would much rather go to the mountains every day than the ocean. So I think that's a good thing if I live here. You know, to bring it back for more pros, sports are very popular in Denver. I mean, we have almost every sport you can think of as a pro team. We got football, baseball, basketball, soccer, lacrosse, hockey, and then, you know, probably a lot of other random ones that I haven't thought of. But you know, me personally, I've been to a Rockies game, Rapids game, Avalanche, and Nuggets. So each team, for the most part, they're okay. Sometimes you'll have really, really good seasons, you know, Super Bowl, Broncos, sometimes Rockies will do well. Avalanche have had a good run the past few years. So it's a lot of fun to kind of track the success of the sports teams, but the fan base within Denver, everyone gets really into it. I remember when the Broncos won Super Bowl, it was crazy downtown when they had the parade. Traffic was crazy, everything got shut down, and we even got the day off from work to go down and celebrate. So it was a pretty big deal, and it was a lot of fun. So there's a lot of sports. If you know that's what you're really into, it's a really good reason to be in Denver. There's a lot of stuff to do sports wise. The next con, and kind of relates to the sporting events as well, is public transportation and traffic. So public transportation in Denver is so-so. You know, they have the light rail train and you got buses, but they're like systematically, they're not really intertwined very well. You can get to major points within the city, but if you had to go 100% where you needed to go, and it wasn't along, you know, the current route, it would be a little difficult. So what you'll see is a lot of people will be, you know, in their cars going to and from where they need to go. So that kind of creates increased traffic. I think when Denver was built, they probably didn't plan for the amount of people that were actually going to be moving here every year. And so you have two major freeways. You've got I-70 and then I-25 that go north, south, east, and west of Denver. So if you get on that road at, you know, 7:30 going to work and 4:35 going home, you're going to get stuck in traffic. And the unfortunate part about it is that there's not a whole lot of surface streets that mirror it to where you could get off and get back on to kind of mitigate the issues with traffic. You know, and me, when I compare growing up in Los Angeles, I consider that the pinnacle of the worst traffic to ever be in. And so I would say Denver is, you know, probably like middle to that on a scale of really good to Los Angeles terrible. I would say Denver is kind of in the middle, just because it's really only bad during those peak hours. In the middle of the day, it's not a problem, whereas Los Angeles, no matter what time of day it is, it's always terrible. So kind of with that being said, those are the big pros and cons of living in Denver. And you know, I really hope that you guys have enjoyed what I've talked about. You know, being in Denver, great place to be. I love living here, and I love all of the facets that it has to offer. So I really appreciate you guys watching my channel. Again, if you have any questions or concerns about moving to Denver or Colorado, or have questions about mortgages and how the housing market plays into everything, please feel free to reach out to me. And you know, whether you want to call, text, email, my contact info is below. And please remember to like and subscribe, because that helps me, and I want to be able to get really good feedback about what I can contribute to you guys to make sure that I'm giving you valuable information so that you would want to move here. Again, appreciate you watching me. Love you guys. Have a great day. Take care.